Copy inbound.
Station copy.
And we're going to be racing that sunset. The approach has resumed. Dragon closing in. We're inside 20 meters. And yeah, that crew hands-off point should come up in about 3 minutes or so. Right before we get that final docking, it comes about 20 seconds prior, or just about 2 meters away from the station still. And that's just the crew not issuing any abort commands. At that point, it would be too late. And so any aborts would be executed automatically by Dragon itself. So we're closing in at less than 1/10 of a meter per second at this point.
You can see the service section Draco is just doing all these very small, minor attitude corrections. Really, the autonomous docking system at work, making sure that the vestibule and the soft capture system is lined up with IDA2. It's the International Docking Adapter. You can see much more clearly there the hinge mechanism for the nose cone. Those 4 black circles are the forward bulkhead Dracos, not to be used at this time. And then, of course, the pedals of the soft capture system. Wow.
Dragon on the big loop. We're inside 10 meters. We cannot make out the docking target, but we do see the outline.
We copy and concur, 10 meters.
Right, we're less than 10 meters away. Again, we should...
A centerline camera, right window, and there's a centerline camera that is aligned with the center of the vehicle and the center of the docking mechanism. So that is what the autonomous docking system is using to line up with sort of a crosshatch, cross target on the docking port. PMA2, or the pressurized mating.
Meters away. And we are just 5 meters away. Again, we're racing that sunset.
Of the space station on the vehicle. Yeah, you can actually see the centerline camera pretty clearly there, sort of with the contrast of the sun right now.
3 meters to go. Two meters. We are inside the hands-off point, the chop, the crew hands-off point. 1 meter to go. Soft capture complete.
Dragon is soft capture confirmed. Stand by for retraction and docking.
Bye.
And we just heard it, soft capture. We have docking, that coming at 7:16 a.m. Pacific time, with the station and Dragon flying 262 statute miles right over the border between northern China and Mongolia.
You saw a little bit of motion there of Dragon. That was that relative motion that the soft capture system is damping out. Once that motion is clear, then the soft capture system will be retracted, and Dragon will go for hard capture.
Soft capture, that docking coming 7:16 a.m. and the International Space Station, we're flying 262 statute miles right over the border between northern China and Mongolia. So that soft capture ring now going to retract. It's one more step on the way to docking complete.
Yeah, and so latches that we refer to as hard capture latches, those are what will really create that pressure tight seal. From our core here, Anna. And they'll also see indication of harvester done.
Some words from everybody where he lacked commanding.
Best for their families too, watching that.
12 hooks will begin to engage. And
So right now, the vehicle confirming that the soft capture system is deployed correctly and is fully retracted. And then once the soft capture system is fully retracted, that'll set up the vehicle to put in the hard capture pins. There's 12 of those around the docking ring, and that's what creates that airtight seal between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station. The volume between, which we refer to as the vestibule, is currently not pressurized. Of course, it was just exposed to the vacuum of space until literally minutes ago, about 4 minutes ago. So just waiting for the vehicle to get that.
To hook indicators, 15 hours since we lifted off. We're at 18-hour ride up to Sahel. We're north. We're rush of attitude control.
Flying together, we recently the dark side of the world.
Conditional docking adapter on the internet. Get them ready to move into the International Space Station. They'll get the go-ahead to doff or get out of their suits, and then they'll have some activities on the Dragon side to prepare for the hatch opening. Chris Cassidy will mainly be working on the station side to pressurize the vestibule. So, as Shiv has talked about, the space between the Dragon capsule and the space station was to get it up to the station itself. They'll wait for it to thermally balance out, make sure we don't have any temperature swings as we're bringing it up from vacuum. So probably from a very cold temperature up to about 72 degrees that they have in their cabin temperature on board the station.
Complete pretty much
Start now. And so quick roll.
Dex Dragon, we copy docking complete. To say that we copy docking complete. To say that it's been a and Crow overstated. Program of NASA and out Thor congratulate you.
Arriving crew to Bravo Zulu.
Thank you.
Bob and Doug, welcome to the International Space Station. After your spectacular rendezvous and docking of the first, you've completed mission. To our SpaceX colleagues, bravo on a magnificent moment in spaceflight history.
Here, space station.
Everyone, thanks.
His court daughter, Bob.
Copy. Bob will take a close look at his zippers when he doffs, and he'll get doffing first, so we'll let you know as soon as we see something or if we see something.
Great.
it's been talking about the suit performance.
Now expecting the guys this him here with the get into with
Joyce to birthday.
11 quick. A big moment in history today, May 31st, 2020. Just on the other side of that hatch, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley have successfully arrived at the International Space Station. Still a couple of milestones to get through. Before we can open up that hatch, it's going to take some time. First, pressurizing the vestibule in between the station and Dragon. We'll bring that up to pressure. It's going to take some time for that pressure to stabilize. Of course, the temperature within that vestibule causes a little bit of swing, so we'll just wait for that to pressurize or to stabilize before opening up that hatch. Here at Mission Control Houston, Flight Director Zeb Scoville, welcome. Well, Doug, going to take some time. You see now we're going to have some intermittent losses with the communication from the National Space Station. We also just received word that Dragon is successfully receiving power.
Ground ISS power
Station. Power.
in section 3 for the
Regaining some of that video from International Space Station, Chris Cassidy given the go to open that Node 2 forward hatch. Again, he opened it a little bit earlier today to allow some of the station air to mix into the pressurized mating adapter. There it is. Now again, there's a few more hatches to open until we are able to welcome Bob and Doug aboard the International Space Station. You're looking through the hatch into the pressurized mating adapter. There's another hatch down there through the pressurized mating adapter that opens up to the International Docking Adapter.
0 on DPDT, and the Node 2 forward hatch is open.
Next, yellow 10 equal.
SpaceX on vestibule pressure.
The ground up to.
And you have started a timer for 1 hour. With that, do we have your permission to come back on board? To come through step section 3, patient test date right about now.
Communication hard-lined through the umbilical where Dragon is currently docked on the other side of that hatch, providing now power, just making sure those hard-line communications are intact. Hatch.
Figured out, but that was about it.
And we think we're ready.
Using RF connection. A rookie space flyer that was on the same Soyuz spacecraft that Chris Cassidy launched on from the Baikonur Cosmodrome just a little more than a month ago. The connection path between Dragon 16 a.m.
I'm in the calibration now. We'll start recording.
Yeah, commencing fixed point at the time of docking. International Space Station was on Russian thrusters at the after contact and capture.
Obviously not urgent or important, just
SpaceX, you were pretty broken in that previous call.
Sure, totally on the big loop, and I'd also like.
thanks.
In SpaceX on Dragon to ground, comm check.
We'll put section 2 of 4.400 in work.
We copy all. Thank you.
We'll call animals of water.
Location 9, bag 204, and to confirm that was for the waste system flush.
Interface.
Never.
Check 1. How do you? Okay.
The com.
Okay.
Space station. The hatch, just clearing the space and providing some padding and removing that docking target from the apex.
Work.
And the other.
That hangs inside first International Space Station with crew aboard. One set up to
You're clear to come up. No problem.
board just of I can hear in a station. Doing the prep work for opening up the hatch there. Again, open, and that's Houston that way. This is Mission Control Houston International Space Station. There's the hatch to the Crew Dragon. Seeing Doug Hurley through the glass on the other side. Space station just moments away.
Decimal 400.
And with that, the hatch is open. 12:02 p.m. Central Time, 1:02 p.m. Eastern. Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley opened the hatch to the International Space Station after launching from American soil on a U.S. vehicle for the first time in 9 years. The first time ever for a commercially built spacecraft. Are open between drag. Doug open.
40.
Here, thank
And 03.
clear.
He goes out from the drag to the station and I believe
The big 02.
Work.
Dragon.
To the original.
Work.
Communicate.
Chris, BAO is working comm reconfig. I'll call you if we're ready for another check.
Thank you.
In hatches early and mission control here.
In 8 Dragon, arrival configuration is complete.
SpaceX copies. All valves appear closed visually now, and arrival configuration complete.
Never copies with pleasure. We'll be there in a second.
We have Bob Behnken from SpaceX Demo 2 mission entering the International Space Station. Followed by Doug Hurley.
Great looking photograph. So thanks for that. Stand by you right now.
Demo station at the time. Crew just behind them is the hatch standing right.
Stand by. We're ready for the event.
For the event.
For a voice check.
Bob and Doug, I will tell you the whole country.
We sure appreciate that, sir. It's obviously been our honor to be just a small part of this. We have to give credit to SpaceX, the Commercial Crew Program, and of course NASA. It's great to get the United States back in the crewed launch business, and we're just really glad to be on board this magnificent complex.
Well, we have some VIPs with us here, and I'm sure they have some questions that they'd like to ask you, but I have one of my own before I turn it over. And I just wanted to find out if you guys got any sleep on your way up there the last, I'd say, I got 19 hours. Did you guys get any sleep?
Yeah, I think a lot of folks in Hawthorne were asking the same question, sir, but we did get probably a good 7 hours or so opportunity for sleep, and I did succeed at sleep, and Doug did as well. So the first night is always a little bit of a challenge, but the Dragon was a slick vehicle, and we had good airflow, and so we had a excellent evening, and just excited to be back in low Earth orbit again.
Amazing. Well, Cruz, and of course he's a huge advocate of America's space program. And he's been, somebody who has helped us so much as we transition from one administration to the next administration. And the reason missions like this can have success. Well, and of course, this is the beginning. We are now launching to low Earth orbit again, but we will soon be going to the moon. We will be going to the moon sustainably with commercial partners and international partners. Periods of time. What is
Thank you for the crews, our distinguished visitors. Thank you.
This is Houston AC.
Junction with NASA on behalf to Control Houston.